On July 10th of this year, an unnamed 15-year-old boy took a 6-inch knife to school. The school is called Tewkesbury Academy in Gloucestershire, England. Along with the 6-inch knife, he had a hooded top, he had a snood. A snood is like a scarf which you wrap around your face. The 15-year-old boy knocked on the door of a classroom where Mr. Jamie Sansom was teaching, and the boy said, "Come here." The 15-year-old boy then said, "I'm sorry," to the teacher, Jamie Sansom, and the boy moved towards the teacher, making a stabbing motion. Jamie Sansom felt the knife and asked, "What are you doing?" The teacher had suffered a puncture wound to the stomach. The school was quickly put into lockdown for 4 hours. Armed police with trained dogs searched through the building. It later emerged that the boy had fled the scene, but he was found 2 hours later. He was arrested. Thankfully, the teacher, Jamie Sansom, was treated at a hospital. He was released the same day. So as far as we understand, the teacher, Jamie Sansom, was able to make a full recovery, so that's good. There's the blessing. But why the heck did this 15-year-old student take a 6-inch knife to school and attack the teacher? We don't know. We got no idea. No motive has ever been declared. The boy has now faced a trial, and of course his defense lawyers say, "Oh, he's such a troubled young man. He's a troubled young man. Judge, don't punish him too much. He took a knife to school and a snood. He covered his face. He put on a hooded top. Sure, this was a planned attack. Okay, he did in fact stab his teacher in the stomach, but it's okay, these things happen," was basically the defense's argument. Seemingly, the judge bought it. The 15-year-old has been handed a 14-month detention and training order. What does that mean? Well, it means he's going to spend 7 months at a youth detention center. So that's not a prison. A youth detention center is not a prison. It might be somewhat similar to a prison, but it's certainly not going to have the harshness of a prison. A youth detention center for 7 months. And then following that, a further 7 months at home where he'll be monitored by a youth offending team. So, he'll have to check in every now and then. So effectively, this attempted murderer, that's the term I'm going to use. He knowingly took a 6-inch knife to school. He knowingly approached his teacher or the teacher, and he knowingly stabbed the teacher in the stomach. 15 years old. He knew what he was doing. Sure, the defense lawyers can say, "Oh, he had troubling mental issues during that period. Oh, he had thought about unlifing himself." Look, I'm not going to trivialize unlifing oneself. I'm not going to trivialize that for a second, but I do have to be real about this. There is absolutely no way on God's earth that any sane person can feel that somebody with unlifing tendencies, unlifing thoughts is justified in attempted murder. It doesn't matter if they have those thoughts or not. It will not justify attempted murder, and that's what this boy did, in my estimation. But the judge clearly knows better than me. Oh no, he's only 15. Sure, it was a planned attack. Sure, he planned to stab the teacher in the stomach and he went ahead and did it. But boys will be boys. Let's just give him 14 months. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, let's say make it even easier for him. He can spend 7 months at home on the couch playing Xbox. What message does this send to the community? Well, it sends the message that, hey, look, if you get in trouble for carrying a bladed article, otherwise known as a knife or a sword, and indeed, if you go ahead and stab somebody, and indeed, if that happens to be a planned attack, you'll get away with it. You will get away with it. Especially if you're young, and seemingly in England, or rather in the English judicial system, anywhere under the age of 47 is young. I'm glad that the teacher made a full recovery. As far as I understand, he's been described as a wonderful teacher, and he was available at the trial to read a victim impact statement in which he says, "I hold no will towards the student for what happened. I hope he gets the support that he needs." And I'm going to comment on that. First and foremost, of course, the teacher is fully entitled to his opinions, and it's good that the teacher has the opportunity to express those opinions in the court. I think that's a good thing. I'm glad that he had that opportunity, and I wish him no ill will, but I have to say that I strongly disagree with his sentiments. I'm not an out-and-out Christian. I do value Christian values, and a big part of Christianity is the concept of forgiveness. I'm fully aware of the concept of forgiveness. It's a subject I've given a fair amount of thought to, and I can see the benefits of forgiveness, and I can see the dangers of forgiveness. And for me, I am not a particularly forgiving person. person, I feel that forgiveness should not be bandied out for no good reason. It should be bandied out when it's really proven to be justified. This 15-year-old had no genuine motive for attacking the teacher, for stabbing the teacher, for committing, in my mind, attempted murder. I don't know why he hasn't been charged with attempted murder. The article doesn't specifically tell us what he was charged with, but it's probably something like grievous bodily harm, something like that probably. I would not forgive this boy. This boy can go fuck himself. This boy has already been given a pass by the judicial system. 14 months of a detention and training order, meaning 7 months in a youth detention center and then 7 months at home playing Xbox. It's hardly much of a punishment. It's not going to change this boy's life. Should the fact that the teacher wasn't severely injured, should that make a difference? Yeah, probably to a degree. But just because fortune favored the teacher doesn't mean that the stabber should get a complete pass. And in my mind, that's exactly what's happened here. This is pathetic. And again, this is at a time in England where people are being killed left, right and centre. We've got the 15-year-old schoolgirl that died a few days ago. I'm going to make another video shortly today, hopefully, in regards to a 16-year-old boy that was stabbed in England, stabbed to death, along with a couple of other people that were critically injured. Knife crime is, dare I say, a pandemic. Is that the right word? Perhaps it isn't. It's a major issue in England at this time, has been for quite a while. I'm going to say 15 years or more, something like that. And it's going to continue. You're going to continue to have these problems for as long as the judicial system sees fit to give everybody a pass. Again, why did this 15-year-old boy get a pass? Well, perhaps because thankfully the teacher was able to be released later that day from hospital. He was stabbed in the stomach, but thankfully no major injuries were caused as far as I understand. So I'm sure that plays a certain factor. But I would say that it's because the defense lawyers are able to go in and say, oh, he's a troubled boy. He's got mental health issues. I'll give him a break, please. And ultimately, the will of the judicial system, the will of the judge is to not incarcerate, seemingly. Come on, 15-year-old boy, please don't do that. Gonna give you a slap on the wrist. Try not to do it again. Maybe the boy doesn't ever do it again. But he shouldn't have done this in the first place. He literally, in my mind, my estimation, tried to kill the teacher. He stabbed the teacher with a 6-inch knife. I don't go around stabbing people with 6-inch knives because if I were to, I'd be quite sure I'd be considered a murderer. Yet this boy gets a slap on the wrist. That's all the info that I have. I've said my piece. I would guess that you agree with me. I don't think I've got a radical viewpoint on this. But if you do, please do chime in the comment section. I'm more than happy to be disagreed with. In fact, I quite welcome it. I'm going to wrap things up at this point. If you appreciate the coverage, please do like, comment, subscribe, share the video as you see fit. If you're in a position to join my memberships, please do. Thank you for listening and take care.